Good morning, everyone. Let's greet each other as we come in. Good morning, everyone. Drop a good morning in the chat. Drop a hi, hello in the chat. Greetings, Michaelia. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As usual, we're giving persons a chance to get in. Oh yes, today is Teacher's Day, isn't it, Camille? Happy Teacher's Day to any teachers who are here. Michaelia is too clean. Mm. Hi, Auntie Pat. Thank you. Can we call ourselves teachers though? I don't know. I don't have any certificate. Good morning, Nordia. I'm having late breakfast, guys. I think Monique is on. Monique, are you on?
Yes, I'm on, KDL. I'm speaking with Ashley.
Okay, guys, Monique is in the house. I think she's on a phone call. All right, guys, today we're doing things a little bit differently. Okay, we always want to switch it up, change it up. So we're not doing PowerPoints today. Not doing PowerPoints today. I want you guys to be very focused on what it is that I'll be saying, because we're going to continue with content today, but we're kind of going to go into some technical areas. And what I didn't want to do is for you to be reading the PowerPoint and trying to pay attention to me at the same time. Because I've heard complaints about that. So we're gonna try doing it a little bit different today. We can assess whether or not this is a more successful way of going about it. Certainly we don't like using PowerPoints all the time either. So it's just gonna be me and you this morning rapping, talking, and me explaining some technical terms, but terms that you really need to understand and you really need to grasp quickly, because we know that content is a difficult area for a lot of people. And I think one of the reasons why content is such a difficult area is because y'all paying attention to what everybody else is posting and who is saying what, and you are not focused on what you should be posting or the content you should be creating for your business, your brand. So you get confused and you get all up in your head, and nothing, you produce nothing, or you produce something that could have been better than what it is. So we're going to talk about how do you ideate content. That's what we're going to talk about in the first half this morning. the ideation and planning process for content developers, especially if you're new to content development. That's what we are getting in today. Now it's 5 minutes after 10. I'm going to give everybody 5 minutes more. Yeah. Oris said, oh geez, I really like the visuals. We're trying something different this morning, Oris. I mean, my face is a nice visual, right? So let's try that. I want you guys to to pay attention to me this morning. Yes, Camille. Plus we have 3 groups that are presenting, but that will happen in the tutorial session. Plus we have some worksheets to go through. I acknowledge the persons who would have sent me the workshop and tell you honestly, I've not had a chance to look at it, your worksheets. I have not had a chance to look at them. I've not even had a chance to sleep properly. So there's that. But I will eventually. Guys, it's going to be a very interactive session. We're going to have some exercises, which means I'm going to need people to volunteer to jump into a hot seat session that we're having today. I'm going to need volunteers, okay? Every single class, the numbers gets less and less, and I'm concerned about this. All right, guys, what it looks like, this is what will be happening today. I'm not seeing much more persons coming in. Good morning, Monique. All right. Michaela, have you tried uninstalling and reinstalling an updated version of Zoom? Going to the actual Zoom website and downloading Zoom from there? Uninstalling, clearing out your system, clearing out your cache, and then and then try reinstalling. Yeah, that's what you have to do, Michaela, because if you try upgrading, it sometimes it gets funny. Yeah. All right, guys, let's start. It's 10 minutes after 10. I don't see anybody else coming in. People are late today. And the only reason why I'm waiting so long is because this is important. But I'm going to start because it's unfair to the persons who were on time. So, guys, as I said, today we're talking about content development for beginners. Or even if you have already been creating content online, it's how to organize that process to make your life so much easier. Because as I said earlier, content development can be hard. It is hard to create content, especially if you're trying to create content on a consistently high level in terms of your quality, in terms of the output, the quality of the output, right? Because you can't start from here and then do this. You're actually supposed to be on an upward trajectory in terms of keep improving and getting better with your content. So I have put together six steps that you can incorporate into your content ideation process. And this 6 steps is based on what I do, what we do for Digital Jamaica and DDA. Now, DDA doesn't have a lot of content online because we've been busy, okay? But Digital Jamaica, because it's our community arm, we have to keep processing content. Okay, listen, Keisha Hutchinson, the class has started, and let's not have a discussion about Kingston Creative until the tutorial segment. I don't know why they're not responding. I don't even know if you're sending emails to the right person. Can we leave these conversations for when we are in the tutorials? This is important. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? We can pick that up in the tutorial. Okay, so let's go through the 6 steps. And step 1 for me is always figuring out your brand's or your business's content pillars. And what do we mean by content pillars? Well, content pillars are like the foundational topics or areas of expertise that you're going to be consistently discussing, talking about, and creating content from. Yeah, this is like your base. No, right? No, it can be any number of topics, but ideally you want to narrow it down to about 5 to 10 topics, ideally, right? Because imagine having 30 topics that you're trying to talk about. That is going to, it can confuse you as well. But if you have like 5 to 10 main overarching areas that you're going to be focusing on as a brand or as a business, it makes it a lot easier, right? So consider these 5 to 10 ideas or topic areas like your ideation center. Because every time you're thinking about, okay, what content do I need to create next? You can go back to these 5 topic areas and then create subtopics from these 10 areas. So you can imagine that with 5 overarching topic areas, depending on the topics, you can create hundreds of subtopics, but always remain consistently on brand because your brand is talking about this specific thing. So I'll give an example about Digital Jamaica. Now, Digital Jamaica, in terms of our content pillars, we have one overarching topic, and that's technology, all right? And from that, we have created 6 pillars. So it's education, information, integration, the digital economy, community, and promotion. So at any time, if you should go on Digital Jamaica's website, on our pages, we're doing all of those things. We're educating you about tech. We're giving information about something related to tech. We are talking about how to integrate tech into your business operation, into your branding. We're talking about the digital economy and how that can be developed. We're talking about building a tech community of tech professionals and just persons who are interested. And we're also promoting local tech and digital professionals in the space, right? So that is us. That is our lane. That's the lane we're sticking to. That's what we know how to talk about. And actually, that's why we are actually here. because a major part of our platform, and that this is our byline, Digital Jamaica is a knowledge and information resource hub. So everything that we do is about educating and informing persons about tech. Our overall goal is digital advancement or technological advancement in Jamaica, but you can't do that if you have a citizenry that's not educated, that's not properly informed, that is not up familiar with integrated processes. We're not talking about a digital economy because we have hindrances where maybe it's banking or collecting monies online. We're not in a structured community where we can bounce ideas off of each other and have conversations and create spaces where these conversations can happen. And we're not talking about the people who are actually already doing it that we can be motivated and inspired by. So we looked at what were the things that were missing, and then we filled those gaps. So that's how our content pillars came to be. So you need to kind of do the same thing. What is your brand or business talking about? Remember in the last class, we talked about effectively communicating, but in order to effectively communicate, you need to know what you're talking about and who you're talking about it with, and what's the point of it, and why they should care about what you have to say. All of that is what you need to take into consideration when you're creating your content pillars. And it's important because it just makes content ideation easier. And by ideation, I simply mean just coming up with ideas for your content. When you establish a content development process based on your content pillars, you'll find that it becomes easier to plan your content. Yeah, content shouldn't be something that happens on the fly. So you're there worrying about what to post, and then you do panic posts, which makes no sense to your brand. You may just repost a meme or a tweet or something, and the alignment is not there with your brand or business, and people look at you funny like, why would you post this? You know what I mean? So instead of scampering to post because you have to post something, step back, create the pillars that and these are topics that you're going to be talking about, and then build a strategic content strategy from there. A strategic you can strategically generate ideas from those pillars, and it's a gift that keeps on giving because you can find any number of subtopics under that topic. But one thing you have to understand, especially when it comes to digital, audience expect you to be consistent. Consistency, visibility is important, but consistency is also important. Because if every time you show up looking different, it's going to confuse me. It's like you don't understand what you're doing, because every time you show up differently. I remember recently I was on a panel discussion with some CareMax students, and we were talking about social media and branding. And one of the questions we got was, I'm having a difficulty because I keep with my YouTube channel because I keep trying or experimenting with different types of content, but nothing seems to be sticking. The problem is the different types of content. It's confusing to people. Imagine I come across your brand and you're a pet brand. You talk about pets. And then the next thing I know, you're talking about Beanie Man break up with his girlfriend. And I'm going, so what does have to do with pets? Them have a quarrel over pets? What does have to do with pets, right? And then the next time I come back, you're talking about how to apply cat makeup or cat eyeliner or whatever. And then the next time I come back, you're talking about politics. And it's just, who can't deal with your multiple personalities, especially if you're a brand or a business. You have to remain consistent, because remember, what you're trying to do is give people enough information so they can make a decision as to whether they should either follow you or they should either patronize your business, right? So you have to be strategic about it. So what your content pillars help you to do is it keeps you focused. It keeps you in your lane. So instead of you worrying about what Auntie Pat posting from what she not posting, or what this other beauty brand posting and what your beauty brand should be posting, you're focused on you. You have it's like blinders. Now, when I say blinders, I don't mean that you're not going to be watching what your competitors are doing, but blindness in terms of you're not going to be distracted by what they are doing. Okay. So it keeps you focused on your areas of interest and expertise so you can easily and strategically generate ideas and even pre-plan your content using a content calendar. Now, guys, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. I don't use content calendars. Not for me. Personally, not for our brand. Personally, because for us it's a time factor. We just don't have the time to sit down. It could be laziness too, to be quite honest with you. However, do as I say, not as I do. Create a content calendar, because for the times when we do create a content calendar, it makes our life so much easier, right? So how do you go about developing your content pillars? You guys remember we talk about USPs, your unique selling proposition. Is it proposition, money?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, your unique selling proposition. So what makes you different? What makes you special? How are you going to say what you have to say in an interesting way that may be different from how other persons are saying it, but you're saying the same thing? That's kind of what we're talking about. So all those unique qualities about you, all those things that make you stand out, that's kind of where you're going to get inspiration from, right? So say for instance, again, you make beauty products, you make soaps, but a lot of people online make soaps. But maybe your soap is different because of some special ingredient that you discovered that make people look 10 years younger, whatever that ingredient is. Yeah, that's what makes you different. That's what makes you special. It may be that your process of making soap is different. You don't use parabens, you don't use this, you don't do animal testing, all those good stuff. Maybe your process is different. Maybe your ingredients are different. Whatever makes you stand out and makes you different can be the genesis of your content pillars. Other things that you can also use to create, to develop your content pillars is audience feedback, right? So if you're already started posting, what is your audience saying about the content that you're posting? And saying doesn't necessarily mean that they're responding, but what are the actions that they're taking or not taking based on the content that you're producing? You also have to think about what are the trends in your industry. So you are in the beauty industry. What's the latest beauty trend? So at one point it was Ayurvedic plant. I think it's a plant. Yeah. And everything is Ayurvedic, Ayurvedic. Then remember, guys, when it was charcoal, everything is charcoal, 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 right? So you have to look at what is happening in the industry. How then can you incorporate that while staying on brand? Because you don't just want to go follow what everybody else do. Yeah. And it don't match your brand, and it doesn't sit seamlessly within it, and it confuses people again. The point is to not confuse people, to give them enough information, and to engage them in such a way where they will take a particular action that you are desiring for them to take, right? So you're looking at industry trends. And so for instance, you have been using charcoal, and everybody talking about charcoal. You're like, oh, we've been using charcoal since 1995, right? And you're going to be writing an article about the history of charcoal and how your products have been have charcoal for the longest time, and you don't follow industry trend, you're the pioneer. That's what I mean. Another data source that you can look at to help you develop these content pillars are, again, we talked about the competitor analysis. Doing your competitor analysis will help you to figure out, okay, what is the audience responding to? If you and a competitor have shared audiences, what are the audience responding to? What are they not responding to? What are they asking for that they're not getting? That's where your gap analysis come in. And how can you then provide that additional information? Remember I said, maybe it is that they make let's look at Bridget's. Bridget Sandals is a popular sandals company. But since Bridget's, there are tons more Bridget-esque sandals company that has popped up, yeah? So what you are doing, if you're one of the Bridget-esque style companies that have popped up, what you want to be doing is looking at, okay, what is Bridget saying? What is the style and the trend that people who buy Bridget's like? So with Bridget, it was a signature flowers, the two flowers, yeah? And then you're looking at that and go, oh, people really like the toe flowers. So you try other designs and you try other styles, and then you realize that people always come back to the toe flowers, right? So you're saying, how can I put a spin on the toe flowers? Maybe toe squares, maybe toe something. I've seen a lot of different varieties of the flowers. Some of them are pointy edges, some of them are round edges, some of them crocheted, some is leather, it's different styles. And then you see what the audience reacts to, what do they respond to the most. And then you kind of incorporate that. Now, I'm not saying go and steal people's ideas, but I'm saying steal people's ideas, okay? Just be clever about it. We're not interested in reinventing wheels, okay? And the last one you need to be looking at is your data, your analytics. Every social media, in fact, every digital platform has some form of data collection process that you will have access to as a user of that platform. You need to be looking at the data. Say, for instance, you have a website, you have a blog. You can know how people are reacting to your blog based on the comments that is being left on the blog, based on how many times they share the blog post, based on how many times they've emailed or DM'd you about the blog post, based on how long they stay on that particular page. You can tell what interests the audience or what sparks interest or sparks engagement by using the analytics and the data. Say, for instance, on Instagram. Instagram will tell you when your audience comes on. Instagram will tell you what your most popular post was because of how much engagement it got. Instagram will tell you which post had the most reach or had the most impressions. You get all of that information. Instagram even tell you how well your hashtag strategy works. And we're going to talk about hashtags today. How well your hashtag strategy is actually working based on the amount of actions that are taken from your hashtag, how much people are coming to your page based on hashtags. You get all that information. This is a gold mine for you, because even though I say, yes, you need to create these 5 to 10 content pillars, they're not static. You have to keep updating and looking at the strategy and see if it's working, and then trying to re-strategize and come again, but you're still staying within that same framework, within that same lane, unless something happens where you're going, okay, this is not going to work. We need to completely change our lane altogether, and then you're going to rebrand and come again as something else, right? Somebody says, I am taking notes and I am confused. Is data analytics step? No, we're actually still at step 1. I'm talking about why content pillars are important. And I went to how to develop content pillars. I'm still at step 1. Still at step 1, and what we're looking at is your data sources that you're going to tap into to figure out what your content pillars are, Janisha. Okay? Thumbs up if you're clear. Janisha, we're clear? Good. Okay. All right. Great. So we're still at step 1, and step 1 is developing your content pillars. And I'm telling you where you can go to get information that will advise how you create your content pillars. Okay, you guys are clear so far? Is there any questions so far? Because I'm kind of concerned that Janisha is confused. Janisha, jump on with me quickly. I'm concerned that you're confused. You're not the confused type. Hold on. Janisha, jump on with me.
I'm good now. It's just that I was following because I'm making the notes, and then I heard you said the last one, and I'm like, at what point did I miss step 2 to 4?
No, I'm talking about, remember I said we are looking at what are the data sources that you can use to inform how you create your content pillars. There are 5 I talked about, and that's why I said the last one. So the first one is audience feedback. The second one is industry trends. The third one is your competitor analysis. The fourth one is the gap analysis. And the fifth one is data and analytics. Is that clearer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So these are the sources that you're going to tap into to try and figure out what is the best topics or areas that you need to concentrate on for your audience to grow your brand and your business, okay? So you guys are clear. I see in the chat where everybody says they're good. Okay, great. Any questions? Can I move on to step 2? No, I'm going into step 2. Okay, let me put that list in the chat. There you go, guys. It's in the chat. Any questions, guys? No? Okay. Moving on to step 2. Step 2. So after you have figured out your Janisha actually want you to stay on me. Janisha, jump back on your audio.
I am here.
Are you producing content at the moment?
I have stopped actually.
You have what, sorry?
The only types of content I produce are for Jamaica Magazine.
You work for Jamaica Magazine?
Yes, ma'am. I do videos, PSAs.
Okay. Is there anybody here who has an online brand or business that they're creating content for who wants to jump on with me? Use the raise hand feature. I want to use you to walk you through the different steps and how it makes sense. Renika Fowler, you're the first one. All right, Renika and Adrian Whiteley, I see you're on with your name, sir. That's great. So Renika, Adrian, turn on your mic. Good morning.
Good morning.
Renika, are you there?
Morning.
Okay, great. So what is your brand, Renika? What are you doing
Yes,
online?
are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you now. What are you doing online?
Okay, so currently I do crochet. I'm a crochet designer, so I have an online crochet items.
You have an online what?
Crochet store. So I'm
you
a
have an
crochet
online
designer, so I
crochet
sell
store.
online crochet bikinis on Instagram.
Okay, Adrian, what do you do?
I'm a photographer and videographer.
You're a
Photographer and videographer.
photographer and videographer. Okay. Renika, based on what I just said now about content pillars, what do you think the overarching topic or area, what is the overarching topic or area you think you should be talking about based on your brand? And guys, in the chat, we're going to be helping them out in the chat. So drop your comments and stuff for them in the chat, okay? So you guys can tell me, for Renika, who's a crochet designer, what are some of the things you think she should be talking about? Renika, what are some of the things you talk about in your on your page? Come guys, drop it in the chat. What do you think she should be
Okay,
talking
so I will mostly post content that focus on like different design in terms of bikinis, whether it be like two-piece or monokinis. I also focus on because of the different audience I have, and I used to make my bikinis versus what other brands use in Jamaica. I also do I also focus on other things I can make, not just for bikinis with crochet, but like handbags and earrings and so forth. So those are most of the content that I focus on currently.
Okay.
And somebody also secure details. That's also something I do. Okay.
So people in the chat, they say design, fashion, care, I say care details multiple times. Types of needles you use to crochet. I love that one actually from you, because you'd be surprised at what we find is that a lot of the time We talk about the end product. We don't talk about how we get to the end product. And how we get to the end product is actually important because then
True.
people understand how you arrive at $5 million for one bikini. So if you are having a conversation with your audience about how you cut material, the kind of nails that you use and maybe how hard it is to source it, yeah, maybe you're talking to them about getting colors and dyeing fabrics and all of these kinds of things.
Yes.
That is so interesting to people because people are like, I did not know. And you will be surprised how easier it is then to help, or better yet, you'll be surprised that that will help your audience make a decision about whether or not they want to spend $500 on your bikini or $10 on somebody else's. Yeah. Monique, what was the name of that gentleman that we had on?
And how long they want to wait for it as well.
And how long they want to, that's
Right.
an important thing. Monique, what was the name of the gentleman we had on from the Jamaica with the honey? Not with the honey, with the Jamaica castor oil man.
Oh, well, Leslie Gale.
Can you just quickly find that YouTube page for me so I can show them? I'm gonna show you how this
Is it
works.
My Island, Jamaica?
I think it's My Island, Jamaica. Yes. Afaya says, and Afaya knows because Afaya kind of dabbling in musical things. Afaya, I know you, right?
Afia.
Afia says, speak about the types of stitches you use, how to accessorize, and you've already said, Renika, that you talk about accessorizing because you have bags and earrings, as to say, can have a whole set going on, right? And when is the best time you are creating? Yes, Oris, that's a good way to go about Renika, because if people understand your creative process, you just said, will they be willing to wait for you to make a product? If they understand your creative process, then they will understand why you take so long to create something, and you can even build a community around it. I came across a video yesterday on YouTube from a creative that I follow. I think her name is Minnie something like that. She's a illustrator from London. And she literally spent 10 minutes walking you through like, listen, guys, sometimes I have no creative energy. Sometimes I only spend 1 hour on my work. Sometimes it's the whole day, depending on if I have a job. But I always try to exercise my muscles in this way or that way so I can stay fresh and blah, 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 blah. And the support, the supportive comments from our audience was so heartwarming because people are like, girl, we understand, we get it. Don't be afraid to communicate your process to your audience. Don't think they won't understand. In fact, it's a way to bond and to build trust because now they understand. So you have a particular YouTuber called JC Can Swim or something like that. He was the first one that really came up with the interrogative style of talking about true crime. And you know, I'm always talking about true crime because that's my thing, yeah? And then everybody start doing it. And now everybody else who do it, you see people go, oh, this is a JC style video. He doesn't create videos often. If you create a video every 3 months, you're lucky, but there's such anticipation for when a video comes out. Why? Because people know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be good. You're going to get all the sauce and you're going to go, oh, that was so satisfying. But you know you're not going to expect them for the next 3 months. And people going to take it time. It's fine. We'll wait because what we get at the end has such immense value, right? So people understand if you explain to them your creative process, if you show them how this thing works, why this thing doesn't work. Maybe you work full time. You guys, listen, I work full time. This is something I do in my spare time, blah, blah, blah. They will understand, but it's how you communicate that to them that is going to be the trick. So I'm going to open this YouTube video and I want you to watch just a couple seconds of this video and tell me what you see. I want you to tell me what you see. Oh, let me make sure that I am sharing my audio as well. Let me stop sharing and start again. Share sound. Okay. Let's see now. So
All
what
right,
is happening
so
in this video is
Sally,
this
the expert,
gentleman
is gonna.
by oh God, this gentleman by the name of Wellesley Gale. He is the creator of a website called myislandjamaican.com. Is that it, Money? Yes, myislandjamaica.com. It's one of the oldest websites of its kind on the internet and one of the most viewed Jamaican website, even more than government websites. Yeah. Now, Wellesley has an Etsy store where he sells Jamaican-based products. And in this video, Wellesley is talking about how to make pure Jamaican black castor oil, and he shows the full process. Notice the words that he used: 100% organic, traditional, authentic. And when we come to keywords, these words are going to become important. So I'm glad I remember this video. Thanks, Monique, for finding it. So in this video, Wellesley is walking us through a community. Is which community this? He's introducing us to Miss Sally. Yeah. And I think Miss Sally is from his former community. I don't remember where. Let me see if I can find
I think it's
out.
in Westmoreland.
Westmoreland. And in this community,
Chanel.
Miss Sally is the person who makes black castor. So let's hear what Wellesley is saying.
I am in my neck of the woods. This is the community that I grew up in. Always loved coming here. And today I'm doubly excited because I'm gonna learn how to make Jamaican black castor oil, all right? A community member, Sally, a lady who I grew up seeing, learning about making castor oil, is gonna show me and show you how to make the real, authentic Jamaican black castor oil.
He's in a community somewhere. I didn't catch the name. Something out of woods, right? But I do think it's in Westmoreland. And he's saying a community member that he grows up hearing about, knowing about, who makes castor oil, Miss Sally. He's going to go to Miss Sally, and Miss Sally is going to show us the entire castor oil process. Now, if we fast forward, you see him. No, this is
all right, that's Sally, guys. All right, more to come. So I am at Sally now, guys, and these are some of the trees, castor beans.
This is a castor bean tree.
Here. All right. Oh, there's pimento as well. There's some pimento here, drying as well, and a zinc. This is bonus for you. All right. And we're gonna go to the source now. This is where the magic happens. So Sally is already cooking. What you doing now, Sally?
Some is on the fire now, boiling.
The boiling.
Yes.
So Miss
All right.
Sally is boiling.
So the process has started,
okay?
guys. This is right now. She's boiling the castor. What?
Oil.
Well, it's not oil yet, but it's the beans.
So for this entire video, they go through from she picks the beans, she put them on the zinc, they dry, then she take them and she boil them, and it's a process of boiling and straining until she get to the actual pure castor oil. Now, guys, I'm going to share this video with you so you can watch in your own time because it's 30 odd minutes long. But there are certain things I want you to pay attention to. We don't even finish watching the video. The first thing I want you to pay attention to is those hashtags. Yeah? It says hashtag Jamaican black castor oil, hashtag Jamaican castor oil, hashtag castor oil. Somebody, some bright spark, raise your hand and jump on and tell me why he mentioned castor oil 3 times on YouTube. Which bright spark can jump on and tell me? Abigail.
So that you can reach each market with castor oil. So not only Jamaican castor
So that you
oil,
can do what?
reach target all the audiences who may be looking for castor oil.
Okay, I'll take. Who else? Michaelia. Well, Michaelia gone. 919543. Who's 19543?
Hello.
I don't know. Michaela, go ahead.
Yes. Hi. All right. So I want to ask a question before I answer. Is YouTube a search engine?
Michaela, are you really asking if YouTube is a search engine?
Yeah, I think it is. But for
How many times
for those keywords,
have I talked about YouTube and what YouTube is, though? Anybody can help out, Michaela? Is
for
YouTube
those.
a search engine? That's the question Michaela is asking.
Okay, for the keywords that he's using, there are a lot of people who are searching those terms. So
Michaela, if you're
even if
on
it's a
another
case where,
device, mute the other device.
oh,
Because that's where I'm getting a feedback. In the meantime, Tanya, why does he have castor oil as a hashtag there 3 different times?
Good morning. Because each of those tags have a certain amount of following on them. So obviously, if he use different tags with the same or close to the first, it will give him the amount of persons that are following that hashtag. So it boosts the following and the viewing of this video.
Yeah. I'll accept that. But I'm looking for something else. Something. Renika, Adrian, help me out. Why do you guys think he has that hashtag there? Adrian, Renika?
I think with addition to, oh, okay, Adrian can go ahead.
Well, usually some hashtags has higher views than some.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's kind of busy because for example, say Jamaican Black Astral have like approximately 2 million, 4 million.
Why does Jamaican Black Castor Oil have high views? That's where I want you guys to get to. Why does it have high views?
Because it's a worldwide market.
Thank you. That's the answer I'm looking for. Jamaican Black Castor Oil is a very popular product in the Black natural hair community. Every product claims it have Jamaican Black Castor Oil in it, right? So him using Jamaican Black Castor Oil, Jamaican Castor Oil, and Castor Oil is him increasing the chances that the persons who are interested in not just castor oil, but Jamaican castor oil, and not just Jamaican castor oil, but Jamaican Black castor oil would see his content because of how the algorithm works. Thank you, Adrian. That's the answer I am looking for. It's because it's a highly searchable keyword term or head term because it's a popular product, especially on YouTube, because that's where a large amount of the content relating to the natural hair community can be found. That's the reason. So thanks for that, Adrian. Now let's look at some other things. How to make pure, notice pure is in all caps, Jamaican Black castor oil. Why do you think he named the video this way? Look at the full name. How to make pure Jamaican Black castor oil, full process, 100% organic, traditional and authentic. Why the emphasis? Why do you think there's an emphasis? Anybody in the chat? Why do you think he places such an emphasis? And yes, Jolene says Jamaica is included. Yes, Jamaica is also a highly searchable term. But why you think him said, thank you, Afia. It's the authenticity in the process because everybody and them woman claim to be having black castor oil in them products. Do they really? Do they really? Is it synthetic Jamaican black castor oil or is it the real, raw, pure Jamaican castor oil? He's distinguishing himself from his competitors and from everybody else by saying, listen, first of all, I'm Jamaican, I'm in Jamaica. I come from the community where originate this thing. Miss Sally is one of the original black castor oil makers in my community. And she has the lowdown, the ancestral information, right? Nobody else will have that. So he's separating, he's putting degrees of separation between him and his competitors to say, them can't always say, them have Jamaican black castor oil, but is it authentic though? Is it traditional Jamaican black castor? Is it 100% pure organic? Those are the terms he uses, but within this title are also a lot of what we call head terms or key terms, and we're going to talk about that when we get to step 3. Right, so Shakira says it provides originality and not imitation. Yes. LOL at ancestral. Yes, man, it's directed, our hands are directed by our ancestors, yes? Right. So yes, Ori says not all Jamaican castor oil really has castor oil or is even Jamaican. Yeah, so he's separating himself there, but we're gonna come back to this video. We're gonna come back to this video because a lot is happening, because we haven't even gotten to his description yet, which is where the real sauce is. Yeah. All right. So so Tanya, why that in all caps, love? Yes, I agree with you. But why all caps? All right. So guys, so what Monique, remind me of his name again.
Wellesley.
So what Wellesley is doing is Wellesley is starting out by differentiating himself, differentiating his content, right? But there's a lot of things going on now. If we look at content pillars, even in this one piece of content, you can see, first of all, the name of the page is myislandjamaica.com. Clearly, he's going to be talking about Jamaica. Yeah, that's the overarching theme. Yeah. And then if you break that down now, he's talking about traditional, authentic Jamaican products, clearly, right? In this instance, it's black castor oil, right? But then look at some of the other things that he's talking about. He's talking about his community. He's talking about where he comes from. He even, in a video, he even goes on to tell you what are some of the traditional things that are coming out of that community. You saw how much topics and subtopics he can get from just that one conversation about authentic Jamaican products. That's what we're talking about by creating this overarching topic and then build out subtopics. And when we look at topic clusters, we're going to see how that works even more intimately. But let's go to step 2, right? Identifying head terms or keywords. I thought this was step 3, but this is step 2, right? So now that you have developed your content pillars, the next step is to identify the related keywords that you will associate with your content pillars, or that will make it easier for you to find, or make it easier for your content, your audience to find you, yeah? So Adrian, back to you now, jump on. You are a photographer / videographer. What are some of the keywords you think you should be incorporating into your content so people can find you? Let's go.
For example, Jamaican photographer and videographer.
Jamaican photographer, 2 words and 1 word. So that's 3 key terms there.
Photography.
What else do you do?
What else do I do?
What type of photography you do?
Well, I do all types of photography, but
let me tell you about all, Adrian.
Right, I know the market, you can't mark for everybody.
What makes you different or special? In what area do you excel more than any other areas?
Weddings, and I specialize in kids photography.
Kids photography, that's a niche. Yeah, that's a niche right there. It's hard to get kids to sit still to take a photography. So everybody at the moment do wedding photography. So how can you establish yourself differently? It's not to say, Adrian, you're not going to do wedding photography, and if somebody can give you money for the other photography, you're not doing it, I know. But how you can distinguish yourself is by saying, I am a photographer who does #children photography, kids photography. That's the search term that people will find you by. Because if I am going to search for a photographer and I know that I want to do something with my children, yeah, I may just search kids photography, kids photographer, children photographer, yeah. I may even search multiple terms, photographer, Jamaican, children. So what you need to make sure, Adrian, is that in your social media bios, in your LinkedIn bio, on your website, all of that has those terms in it. Children, Jamaican, photographer. So it is easier for people to find you, because when we look at head terms, and why head terms are so important is because of how search engine work. The point is to make you searchable, to make it easier for your audience to find you, and to make it easier for search engine to find, index, and rank you. Now let's look at how search engines work, and we're going to go over, just skim it, because when we look at websites, we're going to get really into search engines and how they work. So search engines do three main things when they're looking for websites. They crawl, and by crawl, we mean using your website URL or links that you have on your website to discover the pages on your website and to look at what are the most important pages. So it may be looking at your about page, it may look at your product page, because these tend to be the most important pages on your website, yeah? A lot of people don't pay attention to the about page, but the about page says a lot about you, especially how you write your about page, right? The second thing it does is what we call indexing. So indexing is how it stores information about all the pages on your page. And so it can go back and grab a page depending on the search request, yeah? And the last thing is it ranks. Now, what it does, it makes a determination as to what each page is about and how relevant that page is to a search query. But the most important part of these three things, crawling, indexing, and ranking, is the indexing, because this is where your keywords play a major role. What is a search engine trying to do? When you go and you type in a word or a phrase, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get information, right? And the why you go to a search engine is because you have this inquiry in mind, and the purpose of the search engine is to return results that will satisfy your search query. That's what they want to do. They want to return the best results to satisfy your search query. That's where indexing comes into it. Indexing is at the heart of it, because indexing uses keywords. The keywords discovered within your page's content and the topics that that page cover. So we're looking at your content pillars, that's your topics, and the keywords that define your content pillars. That's what they're indexing on. The type of content that is being crawled on the different web pages, and they have a thing they call schema. That's how Google, that's what the Google system is called. And schema is looking at what are you talking about on the page? What are the words you're including on that page? What is the topic, right? And then once it determines that, it also looks at what is the relevance to your website URL to the topic. Because if you're www.pets and your topic is talking about Tom Cruise, Google will go, so all this relevant, man, your URL no match your content. First problem you're gonna have, right? Indexing also takes into account how recently have you updated your page? Are you constantly updating your content? How consistent are you with your content and your topics and your keywords, yeah? It also takes into account how users have been engaging with your website. So when I go in and I type in children Jamaican photography, does Adrian's website consistently come up? Am I consistently seeing Adrian's website? Am I consistently searching specifically for adrianwhiteley.com? It looks at the interaction between users and your website. How have they previously engaged with your page or domain? How do people interact with it? So it's all these things: keywords, content, topics, updating, quality, and engagement. That's how it indexes, right? So in short, keywords help search engines index your site which in turn means when a search query comes in that is associated or most associated with your website, that is the result that Google is going to return on their SERP page, search engine results pages. And there's a ranking system on that page too, because if you can show up on page 1, your SEO is firing. If you can show up in the first 3 or in the first 5, 3 to 5, your SEO shot, yeah? And if you are number 1 through the universe. That's how SEO works, and that's how developing content pillars and key search terms help your SEO. In fact, that's the whole point of search engine optimization. That's why it's called optimization. No, there's a way to go about doing it, because you have what we call stuffing, keyword stuffing, which is where you have Jamaican photographer children in every line on every page. Google don't like that. They call that black hatting, and you don't want to be seen as a black hatter, which is why blogs are so important to pages, which is why I tell everybody, build a blog, because if you have content pillars with 5 to 10 topics, all talking about photography, say your overarching conversation is photography, yeah, Adrian? This is what you do. But you do children's photography, wedding photography, portrait photography. So you have different blog pieces talking about an experience you had with a client at a wedding. No, you're not saying I'm a wedding photographer all over it, but you're telling a story about a time when you worked with a difficult wedding client, but you knew how to finesse the client and get the best out of that client. And these are the beautiful results. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in wedding photography, click here. That's how you make it work for you. But then while we're in the blog talking about wedding photography, you may also even talk about the bride having a child and how difficult it was for you to take a picture of the child. And then maybe you had another blog post talking about child photography. A link it in another blog post there. That's what topic clusters are. We'll talk about that later. But that is how you actually make it work. Now, there are 2 important factors that you need to consider when you're talking about key search term or head terms. Now, when I say head terms, it's interchangeable with key search terms, it's the same thing, yeah? So the first factor is your competition. Now, you see, when you're trying to use SEO is a money game, meaning how much ad budget or marketing promotional budget your competitor have. Because you see them paid searches where no matter where you search for, this website are going to turn up on the top of Google because it's paid to be there. And it's paid to be there based on certain keywords. Depending on the industry you're in, certain keywords can be very expensive. Photography is one of those industries because photography is such a popular and such a broad industry. You'll find that competitors pay a lot of money to get ranked using common keyword terms that are so common nowadays that might as well you never use it as a keyword term. Which is why I was saying to Adrian Whitney that yes, you can do a ton of other different photography, but child photography is kind of a unicorn within the space, especially locally, right? So you have a window there where you can slot yourself in and secure that spot there, yeah? Because your competitors may be using other search terms like Jamaica and photography and wedding photography and private. They're probably already using those key terms. So how can you still stay within your industry, being found for what you do, but niching? So competition, how many of your competitors are using the same keywords and how much money they must spend to make sure that they're being found? If you don't have the budget, you're not going to be able to compete with them using common keyword terms, yeah? And the second thing is, what is the reason why this person searched for this particular thing? And we call it search intent. Why did Katie Francis go on Google and search child photographer? Yeah. Why did Antipat or Renika put that search term into Google and press search? So there are 3 types of search queries, and guys, this is A-level, but I thought it was important for you to know because I think it will build out your understanding better. So it won't get real technical now, but follow me, yeah? All right, ready now, let's go. There are 3 types of search queries, and this is according to wordstream.com, yeah? And Google has identified these 3 search queries. The first one is navigational query. Who in here can tell me what they think navigational queries are? Anybody in the chat? What that sound like to you? Anybody? What that sound like to you? When I say navigational query, what that sound like to you? You kind of have it right. Direction, search pages, direction. It's kind of along those lines. When I'm doing a navigational query, I am looking for a particular website or a particular web page, but I may not quite remember what the website was. Yeah. Like for instance, I was searching for Butter. Butter is kind of like a Zoom-like platform. And for the life of me, I could not remember. They had changed their URL and I could not remember what the URL. So I was in Google typing in Butter webinar platform, Butter meeting platform. And I was there typing in these kind of search queries, what we call navigational queries, because what I want Google to help me do is find the URL for this specific website or web page. Yeah. You might have gone on a website before and you saw a wicked article, you never remember to see it, you don't remember the website, and you go, what was this article about? And you try to remember the name of the person who write the article, and you go, okay, digital something hashtags. They were talking about hashtags. And then you try to remember what you found, and then you put that into the search engine with the hopes that Google will help you find this particular web page or website. See, Anisha says, like typing the lyrics to a song you heard somewhere. Yes, you're trying to find that particular lyrics to that particular song. Yes. That's a great analogy, Anisha. You said someone else better with me, no? Yeah. So that's what we mean by navigational query. Now, the second type of navigational query. Now, the thing with navigational query, it's hard to create keyword terms because you never know what people may remember about that site that they're going to put in. So it's kind of hard to remember. But if it was a website about a particular thing, always make sure that whatever that particular thing is about, photography, children's photography, it is always in what we call the metadata tag on your website. Guys, this is A-level, don't stress it. Your metadata tag is basically this. Let me show you a quick example. I have to go quickly because we have a guest presenter for you guys today. Okay, so let me quickly, where can I go to look for metadata tag? Let's search. Let's search Beauty Jamaica. Yeah, I find that Jamaican websites are not very good with metadata tags. I find that Jamaican websites are not very good at using metadata tags. I'm going to use our example because we have a message tab. Okay. All right, let me quickly share the screen. So you guys, can you guys see my screen? Mo? Adrian, Marika, can you guys see the screen?
Yes, you see the screen.
Okay, good. Yes. So I just searched Digital Disruption Agency and this came up, the website came up. And what does this say here? So the Digital Disruption Agency is an inclusive digital skills training and resource. So this right here, so are the keyword terms. But instead of just saying digital skill, we created a whole sentence in it to house our keyword terms in, again, so we don't get accused of black hatting. But once this comes up, once the website comes up, you can tell what the website is about. Those first 2 or 3 lines under the name of the site is what we call your metadata tag, because that is what tells people what your site is about. And your keyword terms are usually in that metadata tag, okay? That's what I wanted to show you guys quickly. All right, so let's go back now, yeah? So, so you always want to make sure that they have something that they can remember, that when they put in that and they're trying to find your particular site, they will find it because it's in your metadata tag somewhere, yeah? Or in your meta title somewhere, yeah? All right. The next type of search query is what we call informational query. It's exactly what it sounds like. Queries that cover maybe a broad topic, like for instance, say you're searching for food in Kingston. That's very broad, right? There may be many thousands of relevant results. So when somebody enters an informational search query into Google or any search engine, they're looking for information, general information. They may not know which restaurant is near them where they can get food from. They just look for food. Or they might type in fast food Kingston or fast food restaurants near to me. That's a general information. Yeah. All you have to make sure that you do with informational queries is that it's a fast food and Kingston somewhere on your website in your meta tag or your metadata tags. Yeah. It says that because it is also just like navigational query, it is hard to find useful keywords for informational query because it's so broad and so general, right? But what you can do for informational queries is that you can, blogs help, because then if you're constantly talking about restaurant and food and customer service and stuff on your blogs, so you have a restaurant and your restaurant has a blog page and you're talking about the types of food you serve and a special recipe and your new chef and blah 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 blah, it gives people additional information that they can then use to make a decision about which food place in Kingston they're going to actually go eat at. So that's one way that you can help your SEO in terms of informational query, right? You can do infographics, you can do videos, you can do GIFs and memes and all sort of stuff that ties back to that piece of information that they'll be looking for. So one, you show up on the first page of the search engine and you show up in multiple ways that can help them make a decision, yeah? And then the third one is transactional queries. Transactional queries is also what it sounds like. If you have ever typed in, where do I get, how do I buy, how do I sign up? That's a transactional query. So a transactional query is the intention behind a transactional query is actually to complete a transaction, such as making a purchase, signing up for something, getting an appointment. That's the point of it, right? So it may include exact brand and product names like, where do I buy a Samsung Galaxy phone? Where do I buy, Antipat, what's the name of your book? Retirement, something. Where do I buy this book? Or where do I find this book? Yeah? Or it can be even generic like iced coffee maker. Once you're looking for iced coffee maker, clearly you're looking for it because you want to know where to buy it or how to buy it or what the cost of it is. Retirement and New Adventure. So you've heard the name of the book, you don't remember the author, but you want to know where you can buy it, or even if you remember the name of the author. So you say Retirement and New Adventure by Patricia Reed Waugh, and you type that into the search engine, what is going to come up? Probably Amazon is going to come up because the book is probably at Amazon or wherever the book is sold is probably going to come up because they're going to interpret that as you probably wanting to buy the book. Yeah, so it's a little bit more than just information and navigation. You're actually looking for where to purchase, how to buy, how to sign up, that kind of thing, right? And it will most likely include terms like buy, purchase, order, sign up. those kind of language. Where do I sign up for blah, 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 right? So Antipat said, I just searched retirement adventure and the images my book is shown. There you go. Because on Google show you different things. It shows you images, it shows you videos, it shows you scholarly pieces. So you can have all the information that you need to make a decision. Now, why am I talking about search intent and why am I spending so much time talking to you about search intent? Because you need to understand how your audience search for things. And then you need to make sure that once you understand how they're searching for things, you're designing your content in a way where it is searchable when they're searching for that thing. That's how much you need to know your audience. You need to know what their intentions are when they go online to search for something that you have or that you can make available to them. That's why I said it was A-level, but I still wanted to go into it because it's so important. Yeah, guys, are there any questions? I know our guest is coming on at 11:30, but I don't want to rush it and you guys don't understand. Is there any questions you guys want to ask me before we go to step 3? Any questions at all? Thumbs up if you guys are with me. You guys understand, Renika, Adrian, you guys are still with me?
Yes, we're following.
Yeah.
We're not at step 3 yet, Angela. We're just at step 2. And step 2 is keyword terms or head terms. And I just went through types of search queries because I want you to understand why it's important for you to know how your audience search for things so you can make sure that you are aligning your content with that so they can find you. Transactional queries usually persons searching for how to buy, purchase, order, or sign up for something, which means that they've probably already made a decision to buy it and they want to know how. That's what transaction, it's exactly like how it sounds. So that is why you have websites that you can buy digital credit from. That's not necessarily a digital website. But if you look up, I think it was called, I forgot what that website was that you can, I think that website still exists where you can buy flow or digital credit on. So if you search how to buy credit or where to find flow credit, the website will probably come up. So Angela wants me to do what? Can you really step 3, please? Angela, you want me to go over the entire step 2? What exactly do you want me to talk about? Because I said a lot. Ding, thanks Abigail. Ding, that's the website. Angela, jump on. Angela, jump on quickly. Raise hand so I can see you. All right, let's go, Angela. Because
okay, Miss, I understand what you're saying. I was really referring to step 2, but I mistakenly said 3. And you already said that it's web and
entire keyword section. So what is
I understand. I got it now, Miss.
No, Angela, no, darling. You clearly there's something you didn't understand why you're asking.
Okay, I was actually writing as you go along. So I missed out on the steps for steps 2. So I was trying to clarify what the topics
step 2 is, Angela, is that you need to identify your head terms or your keywords that you're then going to associate with your content pillars so people will find the content that you're putting out. And I was explaining to you how search engines work. So they crawl, index, and rank your site. But the most important one is the indexing because they're looking for the type of content you're putting out, the topics you're talking about, and the keywords associated with those topics. And then that's how they rank you to make sure that when somebody come and search for something that closely relates or match to your content on your web page or even your social media pages, because now when you search a thing in Google, it will bring up a LinkedIn, it will bring up social media pages as well. So this is not just a website, guys. This is across all your digital platforms, making sure that you're using the right keywords that will make it easier for search engines to find your content. That's what I am saying, Angela.
Okay, Miss.
Any clearer for you?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, you sure?
I'm sure. Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right. Because I don't want to leave anybody behind. Okay. And Whiteley, can you lower your hand, please? And Renika, lower your hand, please. Okay. So guys, you can rewatch this part, you know. So you can go over what I said because I know I did say a lot. Now let's look at step 3. Step 3 is creating topic clusters for your client. Now let me tell you why step 3. It's kind of new. It's a new way of doing it because what would happen before is you create content, you put it out there, and that's it. Or you write a blog post and that's it. You know, you put your blog post up on your website, you get hits, you get misses, you know. But with topic clusters, what you're doing is you're super maximizing that one piece of content, and you're using that one piece of content to channel people to the other pages. The point of topic clusters is to keep people on your website for as long as possible by feeding them more information, by giving them similar topics. So I'm gonna go straight into an example to show you how it works. And I'm gonna share my screen with you again. Now we're gonna go to HubSpot. HubSpot is the king of topic clusters. So this is what they do. This is the topic for this blog post, you know. How to write blog post, a step-by-step guide plus free blog template. And from the top, them tell you forget the blog template now. Yeah. But if you should just skim through, you'll see all of these highlights. These are links to other pages on HubSpot's website. Link here, other subtopics, link there, sign up here, subtopic here, link here. And then just you're so far down the page you reach before them actually start giving you the tips on how to write a blog post. We have seen about 6 or 10 links already, and them not even start give you the tips yet. What is a blog post? 6 of the most common types of blog posts. You never ask them. You never ask them. But them giving you subtopics within a main topic. Clustering. They're clustering. So there's an overarching topic, and then there are subtopics under that overarching topic. So you might go there looking for how to write blog posts, but at the end, you're going to find out types of blog posts, most popular types of blog posts, who write the best blog posts, where to find the best. You're going to find out everything you need to know about blog posts. And then them finally come to what this thing was supposed to be about. Yeah? And more links, and more links, and more links, and more links, and more links. This is what we call clustering. So there's an overarching topic or theme or area. Yes? And then from that overarching topic or theme or area, they're giving you subtopics that are related to that overarching topic or theme or area. And then they're sending you to other places on their website where you can find out more information about these subtopics, because they're figuring if you're interested in this, you're most interested in these other things because these things are related to this. In fact, these things will probably help you to do this thing even better. That's topic clustering. It says this is one blog post, you know. In this one blog post, HubSpot send it to probably 15 or 20 different pages on them website in this one blog post. You can sign up for things, you can download things, you can go look at other things, how to topic brainstorm. You didn't ask them about that? No. How to choose a solid topic for your next blog post? You never asked them about that. How to write an introduction? Didn't ask. But they're thinking, how can we paint a complete picture? How can we fully flex our expertise muscles so you understand what this entire thing is and how this entire thing works, and cement us as the authority? So you're going to come back to HubSpot. In fact, you're going to stay on our website up and down all over for a minute, but you're going to come back and you're going to remember HubSpot because HubSpot have the source, them have the information. That's how topic clusters work. And topic clusters are is a super brilliant way of building out your content. Yeah. I see a question that says, Yes, you see related topics or different blogs that expand on what, that's exactly topic clustering, Anisha. Okay, somebody said drop the link, they need it in their life. No problem. No problem at all. Okay, hold on. Let me drop the link. Guys, give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. 1 minute. All right, guys, I'm so sorry about that. My dad showed up in the middle of my session. I had to let him in. Okay, all right then. Yes, you could have used the opportunity to get your water. All right, guys. So you guys have that. You guys have that now, yeah. All right. So yeah, that's how topic clustering works. Now, it takes a while for you to build that out, because the reason why HubSpot can link and tag all of these other things is because they have the content on their page already. So when you're thinking about creating topic, instead of thinking about creating one blog post, you can think about creating a blog post based on something you would have said before on another blog, and then backlinking everything. And backlinking just means you're linking to that other post, or maybe it's an article you wrote for somebody else that is relevant to a blog post that you're writing now, but is you write the article, or somebody else write the article and you think that your audience will be interested in it, you link that other page or that other website. Although I would say interlinking is better, but backlinking also helps with your SEO a lot. Now, interlinking is when you're linking your own pages within your website. Backlinking is when you're linking back to another website or another page. It could be maybe you did a podcast episode and you're talking about something in your blog, and you go, as I said on the whatever podcast when I was talking to so you link the podcast. Or maybe you did an interview on TVJ and it's up on some website. Or when I was on TVJ and you link that in there. So that provides additional information for Drusilla, please stop asking about group presentation. Group presentations happen in tutorial sessions. Please stop. Okay, so that is step 3, and that is topic clustering. Now, as I said, I'm breaking up a lot, somebody says. Am I breaking up a lot, guys? Are you all having the same issue with my audio?
No, your audio is clear.
Okay, Michaela says I'm breaking up a lot.
I think it's your data or Wi-Fi, Michaela.
Okay, all right then. So guys, so that's step 3, and step 3 is a longer process because you have to build up your content to get to a step 3 where you can start interlinking. But what you can do is, if you're on social media right now, you can you can use a third party linking, because you know, like for instance, like on Instagram, you want to get one link. Well, maybe if you use Linktree or any other third-party linking app, you can link back to everywhere else that you want people to go. You can link back to your podcast, you can link back to your YouTube page, you can link back to your interview where you did the yasso, you can link back to anywhere you want to link back to. That's also a form of clustering, but it's really, clustering really has to do with your website. Yeah, but that is how it works on social media pages. Yeah, if somebody mention you in something, so for instance, if you should go on a page and you like something and you share it and you tag them in it, or you tag other people in it, that's a form of clustering, not necessarily topic clustering, but clustering. So I'm just trying to give you an idea of how it would work on social media. Yeah. It's kind of a way of you pulling all your content resources, your content together in one way, as long as it is related to the overarching topic. Okay, that's the key important thing. It has to be related to the overarching topic. So there's an overarching topic and then subtopics that are linked. That's what topic clustering is. So that is step 3, and step 3 is step 3 is not necessarily a step, but as I said, it's a process in and of itself, because it takes time for you to build up that much content that you can link. But even if you only have 2 blogs and the 2 are related in some way, link them together. You just continue that linking process. Yeah? Step 4 is easy. Create a content calendar. And guys, we have a content calendar that we usually give away to our students. So we're going to give you a content calendar. Step 4 and 5 is basically step 4, create a content calendar. And step 5 is create a schedule and task tracker for your content. Because what that schedule and task tracker does is that it tells you in it, you have to talk about what are the content you're going to be producing, the steps to produce that content, and the tools you'll need to produce that content. In that tracker as well, you track your progress of creating a product, that content, and you have to have an end date and a publish date. When are you going to finish creating this content? When are you going to publish this content? We also have a scheduler and task tracker for you as well. Because why it's important for you to create a content calendar is because, again, it de-stresses you. It saves you from having to scamper to figure out which content you're going to produce which day. If you create a content posting schedule for your digital platforms, so we post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Some Sundays, depending on if it's a special occasion. Your content calendar should have what you're going to post for a month. You can do a monthly content calendar where you go from day 1 to day 30 or 31 in 29, 30, 31 in the month. What content are you going to be posting every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays? It's not static. Something can happen and it generates massive conversation and you want to jump in it. You can. Be careful how you jump into things, because if it doesn't align with your brand, if it's not a part of how your brand talks or communicates, it might sound weird. Money can attest to this. Money, what is it that JN did jump in and it never did really work out too well for them? Was it the Rihanna? Hashtag Rihanna is Jamaican?
Boy, these brands jump in a lot of things that don't really have anything to do with them, and sometimes it backfires.
Backfire wicked. So there was a trending hashtag, and I think it was Rihanna hashtag hashtag Rihanna is Jamaican. And it was a friendly thing between Jamaica and Bajan people.
It was how the Rihanna is Jamaican argument came up was a Bajan was responding either to an article or some sort of publication around Jamaica's FX. So how we pay $100 and how much dollars to $1 US, and they have a fixed currency. Yeah. So the person, it was a female, she was being a little cheeky, tongue in cheek, and was like, is this Jamaica who is hype and who is all up in everything and Jewel of the Caribbean?
Basically, she said we're not for $1 and worth nothing.
Yeah.
And the two things don't go together. So she tried it.
She tried it for real, right? And a very popular Jamaican
tweeter
David chimed in and was like, listen, the way how the world, particularly the US, knows nothing about the Caribbean and how it's made up, we could take your biggest asset, which is Rihanna. Yeah, we could claim her and the world would not know any better. And so he said, we're gonna take Rihanna. Hashtag Rihanna is Jamaican.
And that went viral.
And it went viral.
And the exact same thing he said that would happen started happening, because even news, big news, CNN, pick it up. Hashtag Rihanna is Jamaican.
Not just that, when you ask Siri,
Wikipedia pages started changing.
When you ask Siri what nationality Rihanna was, she was confused. She was like, she's Jamaican.
She's Jamaican. So a lot of websites, a lot of people started going, is she actually Jamaican?
Yeah.
Thought she was Jamaican anyway. And then this thing come up and people going, so what's the controversy? We all knew she was Jamaican. She's not Jamaican. She thinks she's Jamaican, but she's not Jamaican. Right? So was it JN or JMB? I think it was JN. Either JN or JMB jump in on the Rihanna is Jamaican thing, and it was a big flop. And people are like, listen, JN, no, stick to banking conversation. Don't try. This too trendy for you. Why? Because the tone of the conversation and the way that conversation was happening did not match how they usually communicate. It's not like a Wendy's that is usually casual and funny and banter. That's not how Jane communicates. So when them jump on this thing, it completely messed people up, and they're going, okay, no, y'all tried it, don't do that, right? And it kind of backfired from them. Yeah, I remember the whole Omar McLeod thing. Yeah, so it just simplifies the process for you if you create a content calendar, because then you always know what you are posting when. Now, if you're like me and you're right-brained, it's hard for you to create content calendars. So money does that. I am very okay with content ideas, and I am the idea factory. Don't ask me to write it down. Money writes. I can't, right? So, but creating a content calendar just makes it a lot easier for you to know exactly, and it also helps you to track your content as well. So we're going to give you a content calendar, guys, and we're also going to give you a task scheduler. And the last step 6, create a content bank. I cannot tell you how much of a godsend idea this was. It was not my original idea, but when I found out, I was like, this makes sense. And what is a content bank? Say, for instance, Adrian, you've done a lot of photo shoots and you've done a lot of videos, and you have them stored in one place, and you want to advertise yourself by not advertising, but through your content. And you go, let me go into my stash and look up different types of photos, mash them together, and maybe a montage, and throw that in my content calendar for drop Wednesday. Your content calendar, I don't call it a content map. It's not a content map, it's a content bank, because what is in it is usually raw, unedited content that you are going to pull from for your content page to populate your content on your digital platform. So you are constantly generating content. Maybe you did a quick photo of yourself one day, or you did a nice little video of yourself, but you never post it. You drop it in your content bank. And then when something arises, and you go, oh, somebody do a little video about that. Let me go find the video. And you edit it and you put it out. So content mode, and you're always content that will be relevant, but maybe not instantly usable, and you're putting it in your content bank. You may see a nice photo, you may take a nice picture and go, this is nice, this is interesting, and you collect those images and you put them in your content bank, and then something may come up that this picture is relevant to, and you post the picture. That's what we mean by a content bank. Saving stuff for later use. Thank you, Shimona. Hence the content bank. Yes, Camille, thank you. Where you put all the things that you want to post. And there may be, your content bank may have different pieces of content that are in different stages of development. Yeah. So for instance, say you know that Girls in ICT Day coming up and you are a tech brand. You're going to start creating content for Girls in ICT Day. So when Girls in ICT Day come, you just pull from your content bank and post. Or if you are savvy, this is a pro tip, look at what are the holidays that are coming up, whether it's a social media holiday or a national holiday, and start thinking about the types of content that you can create for those days, and you start creating it and you drop them in your content bank. Yeah, so you know that when it's time come, you can just populate your calendar so you know which piece of content needs to be posted on which day. Yeah, just one more second. All right, guys. Parents, right? My dad came to my house. I had to let him in. I have to let him back out now. Okay. All right. So what are we saying in the chat? Make sure you add enough metadata that allows you to clearly identify each piece of content. Yes, name your content. So when you go for search feed, you're not search to one whole thing that like me. Don't be like me. Yes, Canva is great for that, Ready, because you can just create different pieces of things and just leave them in Canva. And then if you have the Canva app on your phone, you just download and post. Yes, and you can use it to create a thing. Yes. Yes, I love that. I love that, Renika. So guys, that's the 6 steps. So step 1 is your content pillar. Step 2 is your head terms or your keywords. Step 3 is the topic clusters. Step 4 is creating your content calendar. Step 5 is scheduling and tracking your content creation. And step 6 is creating a content bank. And guys, step 4 and 5, we're going to give you we're going to give you the content calendar and the task schedule that we create and we use for us and for our clients. Okay, we're going to give that to you guys. We're going to email that to you guys later or tomorrow. All right, guys. So is there any other questions that you guys want to ask me, because we have our guest ready? Is Monique still on? Is our guest ready?
Let me check. But she's to come in at 12, Kadia.
It's 12?
Yes, it's 12.
Oh, guys, what time?
Yeah.
What time? Show you the content calendar and the task schedule. For some reason, I thought it was 11:30. Okay, guys.
Within the tutorial section. Yeah. But also remember the presentations, but then that could happen after she. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to show you the content calendar, guys. Now that we have time. Okay. Oh, this is the content creation scheduler and content. Oh, I forgot that I put them into one document. This is what I mean by properly name your content so you can find them. Oh, Lord. Jusilda again with presentation for group. Because here, the devil is a liar. Okay. Let's look at this content calendar, guys. Well, this is actually the content calendar here. So you'll notice a couple of things with the content calendar. For one, we have special holidays up here. So special holidays can be social media holidays because it's fun to get in on social media holidays. Again, if you're building community, you want engagement, you want something fun and interesting every now and again, but it has to relate to your brand. If it's not related to your brand or business, don't put it there. You have different social media holidays. You have a social media holidays for photographer. You have social media holidays for pet people, for beauty people. Just find the ones that are more topical to your brand or your business and you drop them here. Now you can drop any national holiday because any national holiday is relevant. Yeah. And you can also drop those in there so you can acknowledge them, because more than likely your audience will be acknowledging them as well, especially if it's like Easter or Father's Day, Mother's Day, Children's Month, Women's Day, stuff like that, right? And so for instance, it's Women's Day. You're a woman, you're in business, relate that to your business. So always find a way to relate those kind of national holidays to your business. So for instance, Child's Month, you can talk about how as a parent who's in business or a single mom who's doing business, how you navigate being present for your child with running a business, how you balance that. You have to be clever in how you connect those dots, and you have to connect those dots for your audience. Okay, don't just want to go, oh, Happy Children's Day. No, you want to make it more interesting. You want your audience to connect with you, because at every turn, you're giving them more information, but you're also bonding and building that trust and community with them as well. So right here now, and this is the date. So you put in the days of the week here, depending on the month. the month and the year, and then you're putting content type. Is it going to be a video, an image, a meme, a blog, a podcast? So you put the podcast, the content type there, so you know what pieces of content you're going to be putting out on what day. And then for us, we have podcasts. So we have a podcast. Which podcast are we going to release? Which episode? We have Instagram. What we're going to put in our stories, what we're going to put on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and there's one for the blog as well, what we're going to put in our blogs. So you can change, it's editable, so you can go ahead and change out and just put based on what platforms you already have up, right? And then you need to have a content creation day that you block out where you're not posting, but what you're doing is creating your calendar and creating your content, right? So that is how we have set up this content calendar. And as I said, guys, it is editable. You can edit it as you please, yeah? And then we have the content planner and scheduler. Now, this is why this one is important. So this is the days of the week in week 1. Content description. What is the content? So your content scheduler works with your content calendar. The two things work together. So if you're posting on Monday, you're going to go to your content calendar and look at what is being posted on Monday, the content type, what it is about, and then you're going to come to your content calendar, you're going to drop it into your content description, your format, which platform is for, and the tasks that are going to be associated with you creating the content. Do you need to book somebody, interview them, edit the video, put in captions? All of those things. What are the tasks? You need to get into the habit of creating a process for building your content. In fact, write it out. We'll call them standard operating procedures. Write it out. You can have standard operating procedures for your content development as well. So if step 1 is going to Pinterest and finding Pinterest information, task 1, Pinterest research or Google research or research. Task 2, finding clips or mood, creating a mood board. Task 3, that's what that is. You're looking at how do you move from the first step to the last step. Then you're looking at task resources. What do I need? Do I need a video editor? Do I need Photoshop? What are the tools that I'm going to need to create the content? And then the status. Where am I in that process? Where am I in that content creation process? And then which is the publish date and what are the notes? Did I publish on time? Did I not publish on time? Is there a delay? You want to keep track of that. So that is what this content scheduler does. And I built this content scheduler because I know how my brain work. And if I'm not tracking, I'm going to go off the rails and I'm not going to remember what I actually did. And I go, did I do this? And then it just prolongs the process for no reason. So because I know how my brain works, I have to keep myself focused. So I'm always looking at, okay, what are the steps from start to finish for this particular task? What are the resources that I need? How far I am along in each step? And how close I am to my publishing date. This is how I keep track of that as well. So this is from my own brain because of how my brain works. So I'm going to send it to you. If you guys find it helpful, please use it. Okay. Do we have any questions? Yes, Natasha, IG is a feature that when you post on IG, you can post on Facebook. But remember when we talk about content fatigue, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more later. Content fatigue, when you're posting on all the same platforms, the same thing. If it's even for change your caption. So I wouldn't suggest you use that feature necessarily unless it's like a flyer that you're promoting for a particular event. You know, the information not going to really change. Then you can post it. Although I like to change captions because your captions are important. Because remember, we talk about who you're talking to, the audience you're talking to. My audience on Facebook may speak a different way than my audience on Instagram. My audience on Instagram tend to be younger. So I'm guys. We have 10 minutes. Let's do a 10 minutes Q&A. I'm frozen.
Yeah, Katie, your thing start acting up now.
Monique, I'm frozen. Okay. I am better now. Okay, thanks, Shoshana. It's better now. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Is there any question? Renika, Adrian, since you guys are already on, is there any question you're going to ask me?
Yes. Based on niching, I was wondering, for example, that I do different type of photography and so forth. Was wondering if I could have different pages and so forth to reach different type of audience.
I don't understand that question.
For example, just like I do kids photography, I do weddings and cinematography and so forth.
Yeah.
I was thinking that not just to have one, I could have all of them and not on the same platform, but separate.
That may be confusing to people if every time I go somewhere and see it, you're saying you do a different type of photography. But there's a way of, as I said, there's a way of incorporating. You can say you do photography, but then that you specialize in. Because when people say specialize, you have the basic knowledge or the general knowledge. It's just that you prefer a certain things. That's why I'm saying, Adrian, it might sound difficult, but when you're niching is just it, niching. You can't niche on one platform and then go niche on a different platform in a different space. If your brand as a photographer is children's photography, I need to see that across all your platforms.
Okay.
Pick a lane and stay in that lane. It might be difficult, but you will find your people, and you can even pick 2 or 3 lanes. It don't just have to be children's photography. You can say I specialize in children's photography, food photography, and something else, but you don't have to stick to those things and not try to be too broad.
Okay.
Because that's where the problem can come in.
I got you.
Can you ask people to write in the chat? Oh, well, it depends, Antipat. If they're not trying to talk to all attendees, I can't tell them to put it in for all attendees. Guys, if it's something that you want the group to know, please to make sure that when it says to in the chat, it's to all panelists and all attendees. Sometimes they don't want to put the questions in the general chat, Antipat. I can't force that. Any questions?
I'm seeing where we have 2 raised hands, Camille and Janine.
Okay, Camille, what's the raise hand for?
Oh, well, I think my concern was with that guy a while ago, the photographer guy who
Adrian,
I'm sorry. My concern is that I think he has that same concern to that. If you don't put everything that you do, you feel like you're missing out on a certain market. And
if you put everything you do, you're gonna miss out on markets too, because people are going to. If Adrian Whiteley just said he's a photographer, how many photographers are there? What makes Adrian different? Why should I choose Adrian?
All right, so you might see Adrian's thing on weddings and you like it, right? And then Adrian does really good portraits. Adrian does really good animal photography or still photography, product photography as well. You find that people come on and say, so you can do this, so you can do this too, so you can do that too. So it's like if you don't put, okay, I do weddings, I do.
Who are the people you're referring to? That is
whoever come on his site.
There's no audience group named whoever. Remember, we said that.
All potential
no
clientele.
Audience were named whoever, or them, or everybody. The problem we keep having is that you guys want to capture and hug up everybody. You are not for everybody. So if Adrian's photography skills is 100% in animal and 100% in children, that's what he needs to be leading with, because that is where his strength lies. Yes, agent can take nice wedding photographers, but one to the photographer who can take bomb wedding photography. You lead with your strength and stop trying to capture everybody and them and people them. Because that way you become a dime a dozen, and then we can choose anybody then, I guess.
I see what you're saying.
Because you may have one or two people who come and say, can you do this as well? Are they your audience? Really though? They're gonna come back to you after that, really though? No. You have, and I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna show you a quick example before we go on. This fear that we have about niching is because we clearly don't understand what our brand is. If you have a very clear understanding of your brand and a very clear understanding of who your brand is, it solves your pricing problem and it solves your messaging problem instantly. Because instead of people them and them people they and everybody, you're talking to Camille Henry, who is looking for somebody to take a picture of a rambunctious 4-year-old who will not still sit still to save him life. But she needs these pictures because he's so cute and she needs to send it to Granny in New York. That's what Camille is looking for. Yeah, Camille may come across a photographer, so I'm a photographer, but how Camille know if him can take pictures of children? That's what Camille is looking for. And you know that people love taking pictures of them kids because you see it everywhere. Yeah?
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. So the one person, kid, they will come and say, oh, these pictures of children nice. They take picture of wedding too. I'm not your audience. I just happen to come across you sitting and me just bring out a question. I'm probably tired for look. And you can say, sure, I actually do the wedding photography. I can send you a link so you can see my photos. No problem. But what's the off chance that most of the people that gonna come to you is that them gonna ask you? No, because most of the people come to you, they come to you because they know you do children's photography very well and they need a photographer for them picking. I'm gonna give you an example. Don't
right. I
be
think
afraid
it's that most of us have the niche
because you think you're going to miss out on any one group.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's that, Camille?
Right, I'm agreeing with you. I think it's really and truly a fear that most professionals or artists have because we feel like we're afraid to niche because we feel like we're going to miss out. We feel like we're going to lose that one person. Because I mean, even if he's a wedding photographer and he brands himself as a wedding photographer, I mean, we want to get married once, not twice, 3 times. All right,
but you're gonna have the third wedding. I can have several picnic photo shoot done.
Right, so he would have to brand himself as maybe saying also that he's a family photographer.
There you go.
And then I see where he has something as lifestyle, which is also good. So I think that will capture the other
part. Are you guys seeing this page?
Yes.
This is my friend, Brian. Brian is an amazing photographer. Yeah. Brian can do any photograph. He can do landscape photograph. He can do sky photograph. He can do what? Look at Brian's page. Brian's page has multiple things, but there's a theme. Brian's page has a lot of babies, pregnant women, and married women because those are the core. Wedding photography is the core of what Brian does, and he's going into portrait photography. But you'll find a lot of wedding pictures, a lot of babies, a lot of children, wedding. This is a wedding shoot, pregnancy, wedding shoot. And I think this is a pregnancy announcement. Family. So the overarching theme is family, children, pregnancy, wedding. Yeah, that's the overarching theme on Brian's page because most people know Brian as a wedding/pregnancy photographer. And what Brian has done, and I think this is what Adrian was asking me if it can be done. Brian has several pages where he focuses on different types of photography.
That is the, yes.
But you will notice that these pages are not as successful as his original page. You notice? What does he say in the wedding, maternity, lifestyle events, real estate? But what are the first things he says? Wedding and maternity. Yeah. And then he sends you to other pages. So this is the maternity page. So what Brian does is, it's not like he has other pages where he's talking about other things because he'll tell you from the main page what he does. What Brian is doing is using these other pages as a portfolio. That's all he's doing. He's not rebranding on the other pages. He's not presenting himself as a different brand on other pages. He's just using other pages to separate out his portfolio. That's it. So if that's what you want to do, Adrian, no problem, as long as you make it very clear like Brian has done right here. So exactly what it is that you do. And then you can send them to your different spaces so they can see your work.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about.
You can do that. But this is not another niche. You are asking about different niches for different platforms. That's not what Brian is doing. It's not a different niche. His niche is wedding and maternity specifically. And then he tells you the other thing that he also does. But if you should, and you can tell, because if you look at his page, you're going to see mostly wedding and mostly maternity. So this is how you can actually make it work for you. But it took Brian a while to get to this point. So if you're just starting out, niche. It took Brian a while to get to this point. And Brian has won several competitions and he has been in the news a lot and him having big fancy websites. So Brian is more advanced in that respect, you know?
Well, if Adrian wants, Adrian could possibly use Brian's page as a benchmark and have a general site page like that and just use the other pages, Brian, of your interest as portfolio pages.
I disagree with you, Jolene. He's not creating separate pages for his different niches. That is confusing. He's creating one page and separate portfolios. So that's the only point I will disagree with you on there, Jolene. So yes, everything else is fine, but you're creating separate portfolios, not separate niches. That is confusing to people. What is FOMO? We're not even going to get into FOMO right now because that's a long conversation. Michaela, Google FOMO. Monique, is our guest ready? All right, thank you so much, Camille.
Very much.
Checking
Thank you very much.
What was
yes,
that, Monique?
I'm checking in. I see her in.
I see her as well. Actually, I'm going to promote her to panelist and it's going to log you back in. Guys, I want you to welcome Ashley Ann Dennis. Ashley Ann Dennis is a prolific, disciplined, strategic content creator. And those are my words. Those are my words based on how I see her managing her platform. And because I know, yes, she looks familiar, her page is Ashley Carla. And it's not Denise, it's Ashley and Dennis, right? Now, based on what I see Ashley has on her page, I know it takes her a long time to create content, but she must have a process because she's very prolific in how she puts out content. So guys, welcome Ashley. Ashley, can you unmute?
Hi.
All right, guys. So this is the fabulous Ashley here. And Ashley, can you just introduce yourselves to our students today?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Ann Dennis. I am a content creator in the essence of Instagram and YouTube, and I'm also a social media marketer. So I'm actually in the business of marketing. So this is a really good conversation that you guys are having. And I'm happy to join the conversation today with you guys.
Yes. All right then. So Ashley, talk to us about content development and the process that you have created to develop content for your page. You have a presentation that you're going to go through, right?
I was going to put one together, but I felt like it would be better to kind of have more of a conversation with the students to kind of get things.
Okay, all right. So let me shut up so you can have your conversation. Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. But yes, it definitely took me a while to get where I am today. I think after moving into the space of marketing and really seeing how, content and branding is important in any aspect of, how you portray yourself or a product online, you know, the importance of it, it really kind of pushed me towards developing my personal brand. And that's kind of how it all started for me. Of course, you know, I saw you talking about a photographer and his page. I'm not sure I'm not sure who the photographer was, but yes, it takes some time to kind of get into the groove of who you want to be and what you're trying to portray online. So I can definitely say that it took some time for me as well in that aspect. But in terms of being, you know, on social media, I've been on Instagram, I feel like everybody else for a while, for a couple years. And last year during started to take content creation seriously on my platform, I started, you know, posting pretty pictures online and putting the effort in because of my background in marketing and social media. So that's where it all started. But with COVID, it kind of pushed me into the space of travel and kind of enjoying that space and kind of wanting to push that content out more. And I felt like because I was in a space of building my personal branding online, I kind of wanted to kind of move into that space of travel. And that's kind of how the whole Ashley Carla brand started for me. So in terms of the background with content and branding, you know, it took me some time to really get to a place where I felt like, you know, like I felt comfortable with whatever I was putting out underneath this Ashley Carla brand. And it's definitely something that takes time when it comes on to deciding who you want to be, what you're trying to portray, even if it's just a like a business and a product. It takes time to kind of decide what it is that your brand look and feel is going to be, and what you know, the new word, not the new word, but the aesthetic of your brand is, and what you're trying to really tell. Like when it comes on to creating, it's really about telling a story, you know, at the end of the day. And you have to take some time to decide what that story is. And I think that's the most important thing. Kada?
I'm here.
Okay. So
yeah, Mark, you can continue. What I want you to tell them is your ideation process, because you can share screen. Let me you can share screen, Ashley. You can show them your Instagram post and so you can walk them through how you actually create your content, because as I said, guys, Ashley puts out a ton of content and the quality is consistent, the look and feel is consistent. So I know you must have a process, Ashley. So how did you develop that process, and how has that process helped you to plan your content, to schedule, to create your content, and to post your content?
Right. So in terms of, you know, my branding, I really want to be able to show you guys my screen. I'm not sure, is this text up one? Okay, so I really...
Yeah, man, you can share screen.
Yeah, I kind of trying, but it's not really giving me, so kind of giving me the runaround. But in terms of creating...
You want me to bring up your page, your Instagram page?
Please.
Okay, let me do that.
So in terms of creating, for me, it definitely is a process. And I think a lot of the times people think that creating and content development is something where you just take some pictures and you just post them and you say, yes, you know, this is it. But in reality, it's really something that takes a lot of thinking. It takes a lot of time and effort and strategizing. You know, when it comes on to me personally and creating my content, I go through a process where if I'm going something related to travel and staycations, I kind of scout the place out before I go, you know, decide, kind of look at the place, see what looks nice, what's appeasing to the eyes, what would picture well, you know, and, you know, then creating a mood board based on that and deciding, okay, this is where I would like to take some content to either make the hotel look good, you know, and also make whatever product placements or brands I'm trying to represent look good as well in the space. So that obviously takes some time with the scouting. I create a mood board, you know, then from that mood board, I'll go out and I'll, you know, start to create content, whether that is over, you know, like a day or two at being at a certain location. Then after that, I would really go through all the content afterwards, because obviously, well, not obviously, but when I do get content, I'm not really posting out at the same time, because after that process, I have to come back now and kind of curate a feed for my primary social platform, which is Instagram. And then, edit all of that content, whether it is an Instagram photo, a video, whether it's a reel, a IGTV, or a YouTube vlog. And that's a lot of content, right? That you have to go through and break down and then put out over some time. So when it comes on to Instagram content, it really takes some time to really, edit photos. Editing alone it takes time. Well, so, okay. You guys can hear me clearly, right?
Yes, man, hearing you clearly, Ashley.
Okay, right. So it takes some time to really and then to curate a feed. And when I say curate a feed, really to put pictures together where it makes sense so that everything kind of flows. And then after that, it's really deciding on a caption. And that is entirely dependent on whether it's a product placement or like a location placement and trying to sell a space, as Kede is showing. Kede is kind of going further down into.
Yeah, you want me to go back up?
No, this is fine, because this is actually where you were before. Further down on my page is where, hold on. No, yeah. Further down is where I really started to kind of get into creating travel content. Yes, further down. Yeah, right here. This is kind of where it all started. And if you look at how I did my content back then and look at where it looks like now or where I'm at now, you'll see a little transition. If you with how I shifted the focus with, location focus, product placements, with the way I edited and, all of that. So it really takes time, and it's something that once you enjoy it, it's fulfilling because I tell people all the time, you have to kind of enjoy content creating because it takes work. It's not as easy as just posting the picture itself,
And Ashley, tell them how you have managed to seamless the transition, because even as I scroll down, I didn't see a stark difference between what you're posting before and what you're posting now. You were able to seamlessly transition from that to this. So tell us about the importance of transitioning and the feedback, how you have incorporated your feedback and your analytics and trends into your content planning and creation process.
Right. So in terms of the transitioning, honestly, it seems seamless because of the fact that I tried to kind of stick with a certain look for each photo that I posted and the way I edited it. So I do tend to use filters on my content. You don't have to, it's not a must. And I feel like we're actually moving into an age where heavily curated feeds aren't necessary to really be a creator, but that is what I typically do. And with doing that, it has made it a lot easier for me to transition into different, well, not into different looks, but elevated looks with the quality of my content. So the way I edited, I kind of move from one app to another. I now use Lightroom, and just the way that I have been able to kind of learn how to curate content, how to edit content to my liking is really why the transition was so seamless, Yes, Adokade loves that picture. That one.
I absolutely do. You know why, guys? Because this is a sign of a thinking creator, somebody who is mathematical about how they create content. Because you see what Asha said earlier, I went and I scoped out the place first. Yeah. And then I planned my outfits to make sure that they match the theme, the aesthetic of the place I was going. Because if me I go sell somewhere, I have to try to sell it in the best way possible. So how do I do that? I do thematic type posts. So I don't look like I stand out like a sore thumb in this place, and I'm not wearing fancy excitement clothes, and this is a more traditional kind of place, because then it's going to make the place look terrible and it's going to make me look like a sore thumb. So I try to blend in with my seniors so I can show you how to best experience the place. For me, Ashley, that is a quick thinking, mathematical thinking person, and I think that's why your content is successful. So tell us about how you go about planning, or why did you take that approach?
Because, you know, when you kind of look at it, well, at least from my perspective, I found that a lot of, well, I think my first thinking is initially that a lot of the spaces that I enter, a lot of them don't have social media pages that really showcase the place from a consumer's eye view. You know, I feel like a lot of them are very cookie cutter sometimes and not really, you know, like you see in the same pictures over and over again. So what I try to do when I go somewhere is kind of show the spaces that I'm not seeing them post, and the things, the parts of the place that I find interesting and that would make me actually want to come somewhere. And then I then try to see how I can incorporate myself into a space, selling the space as beautifully as I see it in person, and kind of matching it, you know. So if you realize, even with this picture, you know, I purposely this is funny because the person that gave me this set, I literally sent her the picture of this house, this little cabin. And I told her I want these specific colors for the piece so that I can wear it right here strategically, you know, because I wanted to not, as Kadia said, to stand out like a sore thumb, but to kind of blend in, but blend in a way where it made the space and the piece that I was wearing look good, you know. So everything has always been very strategic with how I curate my content. It might not seem so from the outside looking in, you're just looking at it and it's like, wow, this picture nice. But then why does the picture look nice? You know, if you really look at how I try to match tones, you know, kind of, you know, just to, because I feel like if you're going out as somebody that's trying to find a place to stay, you want to kind of, I feel like, experience the place, like how they kind of sell it. Like, you know, when they go on a hotel website, how they sell somewhere, I feel like a lot of the time the social media don't sell that. So when I create, I try to sell somewhere based on my experience. I look in a space. I hope that makes sense. It's like me telling a story with just a picture. And I hope that makes sense.
That makes absolutely perfect sense. And I love how you ended that. You're telling a story with the image, because as an influencer, that is what you do. Your job to the client is to make the client look good.
Look good,
that's
right?
the job for the client, especially depending on the type of relationship that you're developing with the client. If as an influencer, your job is to go into a space and make it look good, then guess what? You have to make sure that you understand you match. Look at this one. You're matching the aesthetic, the bag, the rusticness of the background, and the bag and the outfit and the naturalness. And girl, you know I love you already.
And
but this to me, guys, is the mark of somebody who's not just good at taking pictures, but who has an analytical mind. And if you look at the comments that she gets, people are always amazed at how the aesthetic and the scene, that's usually what they compliment her on, the aesthetic, the scene, how it looks and how it makes them feel. Girl, this is a vibe. Girl, you're glowing. Girl, this place is gorgeous. Those are responses that tell you that her audience are seeing the place the way she wants them to see it. And that's important. You have to understand, what is the narrative that you are selling? How do you want them to see and experience this place? And how can I make them see that? That's why I think you're awesome, Ashley.
Thank you.
Tell us, Ashley, what are some tools that you use? I know you said Lightroom. So that means that no, you not only are you a content developer, as in you're ideating, you're developing, but you're actually creating the content. So that means that you have to learn how to use even basic tools, right? So you said Lightroom. What are some other editing and other content creation and scheduling tools that you use that you can share?
Right. So even before I get into the editing part, the first thing I wanted to say was Pinterest is a very, very important platform.
Girl, I'm right there with you.
But I might not look to Pinterest for all my content that I create. I still look to Pinterest for inspiration in how I might create in my stories, or how I just, like just inspiration in part, in just general, just to kind of sell a mood. And I feel like as a creator, or even if you have a business and you're trying to learn the business of creating for whatever it is, Pinterest is always a good tool, because I feel like Pinterest has everything. There are people like me and you that are basically sharing ideas of what they've done. That's literally what Pinterest is. And so if you ever want to try to figure out how to do like product placement, if you type in product photography on Pinterest, just that alone, you find so much inspiration from there. And I think it's an important tool. I just had to put that out there. Now, in terms of editing, Lightroom is definitely my favorite right now. If you are beginning if you're a beginner in the editing space, you can start off with Visco. I feel like everybody starts off with Visco, VSCO. That's a really, really good app for editing images. It's really good. It has a lot of similar tools as Lightroom, but Lightroom's a little more advanced. And if you're just trying to kind of fool around with something and kind of try to practice a little bit in terms of that, sorry, I get distracted by the questions, but yes, it's a very good tool. Lightroom
That's why I'm asking them, guys, just use the raise hand feature. Get your questions ready, use the raise hand feature.
Right.
Yes, sorry.
Right. And yes, mobile friendly apps. So Visco is mobile friendly. All of these are mobile friendly. Lightroom is my top app. What I do with Lightroom, however, is that I use what's called a preset. And a preset is something that to kind of make it simple, it's just a filter that you put on your photos. And these filters you can get from a photographer, or you can curate it yourself. You can just copy and paste it on all your pictures. You can also buy these from other creators, so that's also what I use to kind of keep my images looking a little bit consistent. And that's why my transition has been very seamless, because I tend to use the similar tones for all my pictures, even when I'm transitioning, so that is consistent. I also use Unum, UNUM. That's my favorite one for laying out my Instagram feed. If I could share my my screen.
And that one is free, right?
Yes, that one is. All of these have free features, because Lightroom, I use the free version of it. And Unum, I do pay for it, but you have a free version that you can use, good to go. You can use that one. All of them, of course, have subscriptions, but it really just depends on how much you really need to use the app. A really, really good one for curating a space. So if you're like a business owner and you have a lot of pictures that you want to put together, it's really good for putting everything that you have and kind of seeing how it looks before you post it out on the platform. Instagram primarily, because Instagram is such a visual platform, or even TikTok. What else would I say is one of my, well, if you're a business, if you're in social media marketing, or if you are a business owner as well, Sprout Social is a good one for scheduling, and but it's more into the management side of things, but it's really good platform for scheduling. I know Later is really good for scheduling as well, and Preview is very good for scheduling and curating a space like Unum. There's quite a few of them out there, but the Pinterest, Lightroom, and Unum are my top three, I'd have to say. Top three. Pinterest being at the top.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, now it's the Q&A, and you can raise your hand and ask Ashley any question you want to ask her. Auntie Pat, you're up. Let's go. Guys, just raise their hands.
Yes.
Auntie Pat, go ahead.
Yes, I was just asking if there is any danger in representing so many different places. that it may appear as if you're just doing a job, and you know whatever you put out there about these places are not authentic or
Genuine.
not genuine, but you know, because you're doing a job.
Well, she
That's
is doing her job.
Yeah, but it's a really good question. It's a really good question, and it all goes back into how you create and how you kind of position yourself online. Because at the end of the day, I don't, even though in a sense it is a job, but I don't tend, when I'm creating, I don't tend to look at it that way. I kind of look at it in the space of a consumer, you know, and I typically position each place in the space of a consumer. That's what I tend to do. And because of how I put out content, I keep that genuinity, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you to go somewhere I don't like. That's number one. You know, so and even in the space that I am with travel and lifestyle, it gives you flexibility to be like, guys, this is what I like and this is what I don't like, you know. And if I don't like something, I'm definitely not posting it, kind of thing. So genuine with how you put out your content, and no matter your space, you know, you should always feel like it's okay for you to voice whether or not you actually like something or not. But yeah, I feel like based on how you know, I put my content out, you will always get the feeling of me genuinely liking something, genuinely wanting to be in a space. And with travel and just being around Jamaica, there's so many places to be, so many places to see, you know, so I feel like it's okay, you know, to be at different spaces during different times and kind of showing that experience and what I like from that particular experience as opposed to the other one, you know. And it also gives me the opportunity to compare, because a lot of people ask me all the time, which one do you prefer? Because Negril is somewhere I go very often these days. So they're like, which one would you prefer, this or that? You know, and I can give that honest opinion based on my experiences. And that's kind of how I position myself online, you know.
Right. So in other words, she's creating experiences based on the different places that she goes, and then she communicates that experience to you, which gives you enough information for you to make a decision about whether or not you want to also have that similar experience. And she's even telling you how you can have the best experience. Even if the place never so wonderful, I'm still gonna look fabulous. So it's that kind of thing.
But to be very honest, I usually, as I said, I scout somewhere before I go. So I always will genuinely like somewhere before I go. If it's a case where it's like it's sponsored, where another company is sending me somewhere, then that might be a different experience. And then I can voice that to be like, guys, you know, I never really like this, whatever, kind of thing. So that's just how I position.
Okay, Renika, go ahead.
Hi, Ashley. Quick question. How should or what should brands bear in mind if they are planning to approach you maybe for a product review or a product placement or like a sponsorship?
That's a good question. And you know, the first thing I'm going to say, thank you for that question. The first thing I'm going to say is whether or not your product falls into my niche and who I am as a creator. And I think a lot of brands and, you know, I feel like, especially with the influencership in Jamaica, and we tend to kind of gravitate towards people with a number count in terms of, instead of like someone that's a creator. And with that, we tend to have this tendency to push products on people without deciding whether your product matches who the person is, you know. Because at the end of the day, if I am a follower of someone and she does travel and she's telling me about some product or travel and lifestyle, and she's telling me something about, I don't know, sports, and she's never posted anything about sports ever, then am I going to trust that review? So at the end of the day, you, as the brand, because you know, it's very important for you, because you're going to either lose or gain, you know, gifted or, you know, sponsorship products to a creator or influencer. You need to make sure that that influencer will actually push your product to the right demographic. And you know that based on who their audience is. If it is that you're not too sure about it, you can ask them, you know, what's the demographic like? You know, what's the niche? If you're not familiar with them before you kind of give them a product, because I feel like I see it happen a lot. And then you say, well, influencership, no, it, you know, it doesn't translate. And that might be because the product and the person just they don't mesh, you know? So I think that's the number one thing I would say.
Brand alignment is basically what
yes.
Ashley, I will use the fancy terms, Ashley.
Yes,
She's talking about brand alignment, Renika, where you have to make sure that at all times you are representing your brand as authentically as possible. And when another person comes to you and say, I want you to represent my product or showcase my product, you are the gatekeeper of your community. You get to decide who comes through that gate. So you're going to tell them that, listen, my community would not be interested in this. I'm so sorry. Next. You have to be willing to turn them down, because what is most important is the acceptance, the trust, and the loyalty of your community. Without that, you're not an influencer. You don't have a brand, right? So at all times, the main consideration is, what would my community like to see? What would they be interested in? And how can I get them this information? How can I get them this, show them this experience? And how can I do that without compromising the quality, the messaging, and my brand representation, but at the same time satisfying this client to make sure that they get what they need to get out of the partnership? It's a delicate balance, but you have to be sure and certain of who you are as a brand before you can engage another brand. Yeah.
100%.
Adrian Whiteley is asking if you start out with I don't know why he's asking if you start out. I think what he wants to know is if you use social media ads, Ashley.
Oh no, I don't use social media ads for my personal brand. I would for if it was a, you know, a product placement kind of brand, but I personally don't, because I'm trying to build an organic community. And, you know, it might be slow and steady, but it's better to build a following from people genuinely wanting to follow you and kind of be a part of your community and learn to trust your opinion, than me running an ad, getting thousands of new followers, and these followers don't even know who I am. You know, so they're not going to engage on my post. They don't get it because they don't know who you are. They just follow you off of one pretty picture. You know, it doesn't usually connect. So I would definitely not recommend it either. But no.
Awesome. Question for Ashley, guys. She's here for another 3 minutes because she's busy. Okay. Any other question for Ashley? Use the raise hand feature.
I saw some in the chat, but you know, there were.
Let me go back and see if I can. Is there any danger in?
So someone is talking about, they know me from school, from agriculture to marketing.
Guys, you guys have a content creator sitting down in front of you and nobody have no question? How do you post on Pinterest? Ashley, do you post on Pinterest?
And myself, Pinterest is actually one of the platforms I'm really trying to learn how to use effectively. Yeah. So I don't.
That's not our area of expertise, guys.
It's not.
You have to have a Pinterest account to post on Pinterest, and it's a free account. You can have an account as a business, or you can have just a regular casual account that you can create. You can create different pages in that you can pin things to the different pages. Okay, guys, that's something Michaela can Google.
Yeah, and it's really good for businesses if you're trying to generate some traffic.
Yeah, because Pinterest is a search engine. So if you're on Pinterest, it also increases your reach, or it can increase your reach. But Pinterest is a funny animal. You have to be very consistent and very prolific. It's like Twitter. If you're not posting a lot on Pinterest, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Any other question about content development and ideation and creating content, guys? I'm gonna assume that you guys are all pros now. And you don't need any advice. All right, Ashley, thank you so much.
You're most
coming back.
welcome.
Oh, Monique Forbes is asking, what is the best time to post? That's highly objective. Subjective.
Yes, it is. It really depends on what time your audience is really online and are engaging. So it's really, I mean, for me, I post at 6 p.m., but somebody
Yeah, and
else
that's
might
based
post
on
at
what
8
her
p.m.
analytics is telling her is the best time to post, because
Right.
that's something she has to take into consideration.
Mhm.
When does our audience usually respond? So you try different times and then
Until
you
they figure it
test to
out.
see where you get the most engagement quicker. And then you know that that may be a time, and you may post at different times, different days. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your audience used to your posting schedule as well, so that they're there, and what you're trying to adjust to their schedule, not necessarily them adjusting to yours.
Right.
Because there's more of them than you. So you
Right.
just check to see when they're most on, when they're most active, when they're most engaged. You can use your stories to throw out a question. You can ask them, use your stories and ask them, guys, when do you want me to post? Ask. And they
That
will
is true.
tell you, as well. Okay. All right, Tashna, you're late, bud. Oh no. Somebody says, and how far ahead do you plan your content?
All right. So in term, I don't really have a set time to say how far ahead I do, because my Instagram is curated. I do tend to post based on just how everything falls into place. So even though I might go to somewhere this weekend, if I have content that is still already curated, that content for that coming out that's going to take weekend coming, it's probably not going to get posted to like a week or 2 weeks time, because of the fact that it's curated. So for me, it's not a set time. I don't have a set time.
Okay.
Given that you take a while to create, how often do you post? Realistically, I should be posting every other day, but do I? Not really, but I do try to post every other day, just to try to give my audience some consistency. I haven't been that consistent lately, but consistency is very important, because at least your audience will know that, okay, this is when she's going to post, as Katie said before, so I can look out for it. And that will help your engagement as well, because they're expecting you.
Yeah, Monique Perville is asking, how hard or easy was it for you to get into your niche, being that you are in Jamaica?
Whew, let's talk about it. I'm kidding. It wasn't hard. We have the perk of living on an island, so it really isn't that hard. What is hard, however, is really getting, I'd say, brands or certain hotels to trust you as a travel creator. You know, that's really the hard part. But the creating part is pretty easy, because of the fact that we're on an island and we kind of have a lot of, like travel, the very much, if you look at other travel content creators, they have a travel aesthetic. When you live on an island, it's very easy, very, very easy.
Come to your island to vacation.
Yeah, to vacation.
Antoinette, Ashley already said she doesn't advertise, so that's not a question for Ashley. Natasha says, I'm hearing about products, but what happens if you have a service? Ashley don't have a product. Ashley offers a service, Natasha. Such as training. How do you market yourself? Natasha, I'm gonna show you a page and show you how they go about doing the exact same thing that Ashley is doing is the exact same thing that person doing. Ashley is creating an experience through photography and through video. It's the exact same thing you do, regardless of the service that you're offering. In fact, it's probably harder with a product than it is with a service in some instances, depending on the product. So Monique Forbes is asking, Ashley, how do you deal with posts that doesn't do well in terms of engagement?
That's another good one, actually. What I tend to do is kind of look at why people aren't engaging. If it is that I am posting at the same time that I'm supposed to, I cancel that out, right? So I would then look at the the post itself, you know, what it is it far off from what I usually post? Is it something different? Is it, you know, to kind of see behind why I haven't gotten a high engagement. Sometimes that is just because of Instagram. You understand? So sometimes I'll look into the post and see maybe why this isn't performing as well, and then I'll take that knowledge and kind of content to put out going forward. But if it's a case where it's like a one-off situation, I don't take it too seriously and kind of, you know, keep posting. So sometimes Instagram is very, you know, so.
Okay, all right, Ashley, thank you so much. Really appreciating
You're welcome.
All the questions
Thanks
coming
for having
when
me.
he has to go.
Yeah, see them.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being there. Love your work.
Thank you
and
for
keep
having
keep
me.
doing what you do.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was the awesome Ashley Dennis, aka Ashley Carla. Somebody asked about live. Ashley don't do lives, guys. How do you handle critiques? Some depending on the critique, you don't even have to respond. And this is the beauty about your community. Look at the Bayhive. Beyonce has never responded to any critique, but the bees certainly does. So that's the beauty of your community. Your community can insulate you from a lot of things as well. Natasha, the page is Chris Corio. You can look at it in your own time. I'm gonna send you the link. Look at how Chris Corio and his training she does as well. So it's a great platform for you to look at. There's the link. How tips to navigate IG algorithm. Renika, girl, you need to pay for that information. That's a whole course by itself, girl. Okay, so groups who have to present. Where are you guys? It's presentation time. Groups who have to present. Where are you? Group, I think it's group 9, group 3, and group 4. I saw it, they go. Monique, you remember?
I'll check the document. Give me 1 second.
Group 1 presented already, didn't they?
Yeah, based on what I remember.
Guys, only 3 groups are presenting today. Group 1 presented on Monday. You're not presenting again. Yes, Drusilda, we know. Are you ready, Drusilda? All right, Drusilda, let's go. Because, yeah. Drusilda, I've promoted you to panelist, and you can share when you're ready. Let's go. If I'm not mistaken, it was group 4, 9, and 3.
Yes, Katie, you're correct. Your memory are going good, man.
Girl.
3, 4, and 9.
Come, group 4. Next is group 3, and then group 9. Because Drusilla going die. Drusilla, let's go. You see, this is what always happens. I put you on, and you're not ready, and let's go, Drusilla. Who are the other persons in group 4?
Guys, we're really going to have to go through this again?
But from a start, Drusilla has been asking me to present. I thought she was ready. No, she's on, and it's the same thing that happened the last time happening again. Who else is in group 4? Guys, if you're in group 4 and you realize that Drusilla having a problem from today, why would you have Drusilla present again today and nobody is trying to assist?
Dwayne Smith.
Janelle, are you in group 4? Can you present?
Yeah, Janelle is in. Janelle Peart is in group 4.
Okay, I'm going to present now.
Drusilla, go ahead. Where's your presentation? Janelle, help Drusilla out there, please.
Okay, I'm going to share. I was trying to unmute. I'm going to share now. Okay, so hello, Miss
Drusilla, why are you sharing your Zoom screen?
I'll be president.
Drusilla, why are you sharing your Zoom screen?
It's my Zoom screen. You're not seeing what's on my screen. I'm seeing the presentation.
No, I'm not. I'm seeing your Zoom screen. Janelle?
Okay, wait, let me again. Okay, let me. Okay.
Drusilla, we're gonna move on to Janelle because this is not working out. Janelle, let's go.
I'm about to share my screen. Oh, please. So why am I not seeing this now? All right.
Is group 3 ready to present?
Are you seeing it now, miss?
I'm not seeing anything. Is group 3 ready to present? Oh, it's coming up now. Who is presenting for group 3 and who's presenting for group 9?
Shannon has indicated that she's for 9 in the chat. Don't say anybody for 3 as yet.
Janelle, your presentation gone again.
I know I stopped sharing to reshare again because the screen was away to me. Okay, so here I am.
Okay, let's go. This is for group what, 4?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Good afternoon. So I'll be presenting on Digicel. So Digicel is a Caribbean mobile network, telephone network and home entertainment provider that provides 33 markets across Caribbean, Central America, and Oceania.
Just get to the point.
So Digicel uses various channels, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They have their websites as well. For inbound, they use emailing to keep in contact with their customers and so forth, as well as do promotional calls. They have promotional to existing customers, as well as they use their Instagram, like social media feeds as search engines, as well as their brand ambassadors. Outbound marketing, they use e-commerce as well as telecommunications, and their sales agents where sometimes we will see them out in the field asking, for example, you see them out, do you have a digital phone, or would you want to switch to our network, and so forth, as well as we can see the billboards and social media advertisements and TV advertisements, some of their brand ambassadors and their website. So their website is used for inbound, where persons go to their website for, like, for example, they want to purchase things off there, or they want to apply for a job or so forth. They use their website for various means. And although Digicel has so many different platforms and social media platforms as well, and even though most of their background is on, most of their followers are on Facebook, they have more they have more followers on Facebook than on Instagram and Twitter, as well as their Facebook is a platform that they mostly use to interact with their customers. And because, you know, Facebook would attract the diaspora persons as well as the younger, the older, as Digicel, they don't just target one specific group, but they target the young, the old, and the young at heart. So Facebook is a platform that really reaches out to the various target audience, even though they have Instagram and it's very active as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Shannon, you can go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Get to the presentation. Okay. So today we're looking at the Jamaica National Building Society. So JN Bank uses a multi-channel marketing strategy. So they utilize some of the following channels: electronic, TV and radio broadcasts, print, newspaper articles and flyers, billboards, social media platforms, search engines, a website, and they send out email newsletters. Some examples of outbound marketing strategies that JN uses: TV commercial broadcasts. Let me see if this will. Nope, didn't play the video. Can I get it to? It's not gonna play the video, but it was the video of a commercial, one of their commercials. They also have newspaper articles. This one is talking about some foundation, their scholarship, their sponsorship efforts, scholarships for students. And their sponsorship efforts is another outbound marketing strategy that they use. Some examples of their inbound strategies: they have a website. They use several different social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. These are some examples of posts that you can see on any of their social media platforms. Their social media platforms suffer a bit from content fatigue. So especially their Instagram and their Facebook, and their LinkedIn as well, it's largely the same across the board. But they also have a YouTube channel, YouTube. So they also use search engines in their inbound marketing. Oh, you're gonna play this video? Okay. Here's one of their YouTube videos. All right, so basically this video is just giving you information about one of their services and how to properly use it. So it's I think it's pretty good content marketing. So I think their YouTube is one of their better inbound marketing strategies. As for their most effective channels, um, we think that their outbound channels are their most effective channels. And this is because it really spreads awareness of their brand to a wide audience, using channels like TV commercials on highly trafficked cable channels at high traffic times of the day, billboards all over the country, featured articles and flyers in national newspapers, and sponsorships. And all of these things really keep the brand in the mind of the public and maintain brand trust, particularly among their older target audience that consume mostly outbound media and don't really interact as much with inbound media, for example, social media and their websites. So yeah, that is it for our presentation. Thank you.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Just in the interest of time, can I have the next?
Monica, I can barely hear you.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
And then you're gone back low again. Move your thing closer to your mouth.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I was just saying, thank you, Shannon. In the interest of time, can we have the next person coming on, please? The next group.
That's group 3.
Okay. Since they're not volunteering, I'll just provide some feedback. I think that group 4, even with somebody else, which was group 5, coming and presenting on the same brand, I feel like you guys didn't get the assignment at all, because in what you presented, I really didn't get a lot of information in there. What we're trying to see or ascertain, and I think you would have, I don't think you would have had an advantage not only from seeing the other presentations, but also somebody else would have already presented on digital. So you have a double leg up. So that means that my expectation, or how I'm going to look at your presentation, is going to be, I'm going to scrutinize it more, and it really didn't stand up to that level of scrutiny. I still don't know whether or not you understand the difference between inbound and outbound based on what you would have shared and presented. Shannon, I think that your team went back and tried to find some more examples. I think that some more with the video that you showed, what they're actually trying to do is they're providing you with content and information around not just credit card, but about, I'm not sure, it wasn't fraud, it was how you could use it at different locations or something. I don't remember exactly the theme or whatever of the video, but I liked one that you had selected it, I think a little more whether it was analysis or diving into it a little more, to say this is actually how they're drawing persons in. Because maybe let's imagine it was fraud. If you think you want to keep your card safe and security, and you're just searching for information, you're interested about credit cards, or you have one or whatever, but it's JN that's providing you with that sort of information around security and how you protect yourself and whatever. Even if you weren't searching for a credit card, but subconsciously it's telling you that they have your best interest at heart. It's telling you that they have things in place to protect you. It's telling you those subconscious cues. And so it's not a hard sell saying, buy my credit card and our interest rate is 45% and whatever, but it's still wooing you in and drawing you in. So I think that you guys improved from the last time in being able to show some examples. Some things were there, but we're still looking for. We're developing, and we're looking forward that over the duration of the course, we'll be able to articulate some more of these. Not just terms, but see it from a layered or a deeper perspective. But I definitely think you guys gave a better effort this time. Any other?
I agree with Monique. I think group 10 improved a lot. Group
9,
4,
yeah.
y'all are in trouble. You're clearly not communicating effectively with each other.